There we are.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome to our City of Depoe Bay Council meeting. This is November 19th, 2024. Kim, would you please call the roll?
Councilor Beasley.
Here.
Councilor Masella.
Here.
Councilor Sovereign. Here. Councilor Watson. Here. Councilor Reck. Here. Mayor Short.
Here.
And Councilor King.
Here.
Uniform.
Thank you. Perfect. We do have one change to the agenda under the new business. The action agreement is not available for us yet. Kim, do you think that will be done?
Well, what do you say? Oh, well, it looks like the consultants are waiting for their attorneys and the third should be a go. I do have one more thing to add, maybe we can add to the agenda. This is what I mentioned to you earlier today in the packet, given the resolution for the, it's in the new packet I gave you.
Okay. We have a resolution. You want to put that under new business?
Maybe at the very end, yeah. The new packet that I gave you, the top 3 pages are for some updates to the LED lighting. So it looks a lot better than what was originally. It saves about $13,000, or maybe more. So what happened is the guys did an apples to apples comparison. We'll go over that. And then the only other thing was the copy of our beautiful new bridges down at the park.
But access to the.
I gave it to you separately. Yes, we're not ready for access yet, but they are pretty good.
Okay, so that was something number 5 on surveillance slide. Like,
That stuff is supposed to be for that. As far as I understand, we can double check with
The
John.
reason, because that made them rot quicker with the roofing. So.
okay, well, we'll pick that up later. Let's go on with the meeting. Alrighty, has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from the August 20th, August 22nd, and our accounts payable report? Is there a motion to accept as submitted?
Did we do the consent agenda?
But that's what we're now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm good there.
So move that to
Let's
accept it.
move to accept it.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the consent agenda as presented. Is there discussion on the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm trying to find the page.
Oh, okay. Good luck.
It's under the minutes, on page 11. The votes are not correct. It was a motion, number 8. It was a 5-2 vote, and they were all under the ayes, and Councilor Beasley and I are also under the nays, so it needs to be fixed.
Pardon me, okay, let me get to that page, pardon me, because I'm not there yet. So what page were you talking about?
Page 11.
Page 11, sorry about that, let me get there.
Motion passed 5-2, but you've got 7 ayes.
Okay. All right,
And then,
and that was for the, there we go.
You got it, Kim?
I got it, number 8, got it.
Was there something else?
accounts payable. I would be remiss if I didn't discuss that this month we paid $67,526.80 to AKS Engineering. $14,000 of it was tagged as planning, which I'm assuming is for them doing work for our planner who we no longer have.
That and some of that will be reimbursable, so we get to bill people for it, we've gotten a deposit, so some of that we get to reimburse.
You know, it would be, I think it would be very helpful if we knew how much of that was reimbursed. Because right now, I mean, I looked at it, this month was $67,000, last month was $117,000. I'm sure we're getting some of that back. But
That
we don't know
report
if
that I
is.
gave at the last meeting showed what we were gonna be reimbursed
It
for.
was so little, it was in the hundreds.
Yeah, it was not a lot of,
The planning reimbursement was 36,000.
I don't remember seeing that.
Okay, I'll
I could
look
be
again,
wrong.
thank
I'll
you.
look again.
But the planner was here until the 15th.
Right, but he also did some work prior to the planner coming on. Remember, the old planner left in July?
Yeah.
And the new planner didn't start till early September, so we have the whole month of August.
Yeah, October, the number was 117 and planning was 7,300, is what I had for October. So we doubled the amount of planning for this month. So I'm just pointing it out that there's significant AKS engineering expense.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you, Councilor Beasley.
Thank you. We'll go down to committee reports.
Yeah, for emergency preparedness. I had an initial phone call with a woman named Laura Gable with, it's with Degami. And they actually, I didn't realize this, but they have an office in Newport. And I talked to her about the possibility of coming to our committee to talk to her. And this is, of course, the Degami map, you know, you've seen this. And I wanted to give kind of an update. First of all, is there an updated map? I don't know when this was created. Do we have an updated map? And then we're looking at what we're going to do as far as community outreach. And I asked her if she'd be available to come out, sort of like the Lincoln County has done before, come out and just talk to us about this. What does this really mean? Because they are a mineral and geology group. And so I think they'll be able to, you know, explain it a lot better as to what really this actually means. We think we know, but I'd like to have better discussion. Cassidy Boyle in Lincoln City said that, you know, she's been talking to some of their folks about it. It's been helpful. I thought that it might be something also to have her come and talk to city council as well as the committee and just kind of give updates as to what's going on, what they think is happening now, what the projections are. We also have an appointment, a Zoom appointment with a company called Ready America, the committee does. Ready America gives supplies for the state of Oregon pretty much. And well, at least the representative I work with represents the state of Oregon. And she's worked with Lincoln City, she's worked with Cannon Beach, Seaside, and many other cities, giving them ideas about supplies and buying the supplies from this one source. And Cassidy in Lincoln City, Cassidy Boyle said that she used them quite favorably, and they have a good selection of different things that we are also looking for as supplying our caches. So that's going to happen at our next meeting. So we're trying to get done what we can. We're still working, trying to find ideal places for caches, and that's a long process. But we're moving forward with that.
Thank you, Joyce. Any questions?
Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you.
Sure.
Harbor?
Yes, Harbor Commission did not have a meeting, we didn't have a forum in October, so we're gonna do that. Liz and we have our November meeting tomorrow, so we're not meeting on Thanksgiving Eve. Liz and I both have comments and input on the first item on an unfinished business, the business license, and
Okay,
address it at that point.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Planning, I don't see planning anywhere. Parks? Come on up, Jen.
The Parks and
Sure.
Center. Actually, I really don't know too much about anything right now, but
Okay.
I know that the Parks is rolling pretty cool with their bridge and stuff. I've got to go over and take a look at it.
Well, it's not quite open yet. They don't have all the steps up,
A little bit of access to it.
and it's muddy.
They're really
and
nice.
And we're waiting for our eggs for the salmon and ham.
Right,
So
yes.
that's kind of on hold also.
Okay,
We'll have more to report later on in the year.
wonderful.
Kenny,
Oh, great.
I
Thank you.
have a picture of them.
Thank you very much. All right, guys.
Thank you. Alrighty, 2 and 1 there. Are there any public comments this evening?
That aren't for an item related to the agenda.
Pardon?
Nobody else wanted, just want to
Okay.
clarify, this is for general public comments.
Yes, general public comments, right. Okay, so under unfinished business, we're doing a reconsideration of the, 565-24 resolution, and I'll let, Kim and Councilor Rec take this over.
I wrote out my concern with demo
Yes.
occupation transient room. As a, used to be a business of home occupation, I absolutely would not pay that, and I wouldn't tell you guys I was doing this. So that's a lot of money, and I couldn't find any other city in our size, fairly local, I can find them all that charge that much for a home occupation. When, like, for example, mine was just a computer business, I didn't have any impact on the city. Transient is a little bit different, because transient, we're talking about people who do business in the city, but they don't have a physical location. You know, they are the people who do the yard, clean up the yards, and the gentleman who does our scenic area, you know, the mowing, the things like that. They don't actually have a shop, an office, a store, a lodging in the city, they just work in the city. So that was across the board. I did see that some cities treated them very different, some didn't. Some said if you don't have a physical location in the city, they didn't charge you what they charged someone who did have a physical location in the city. So I'm more concerned about home occupation. I think that we probably don't have a lot of people who do home occupations tell us anyway at 87. So if we raise it to 150, we'll definitely.
So the previous number was $87?
For one employee, I paid $87.50 for one employee. I didn't feel like I should have to do that either because I'm a home business, but, and I don't have any impact on the city, but I paid it. But I'm closing my business, well, sure, I'm giving it to somebody else. I won't have it, but I would really be hard pressed to pay that.
So at this time, I'd like
Let
to,
me talk about.
oh, I'm sorry.
So the reconsideration about the harbor,
Yeah,
we were basing it, I was basing it off when we suggested the off Newports, which is 467 or 476. But they also charge for people using the fillet station and so, and when the Harbor Commission said 500 for the boats, the transient boats, they're using our facilities. So, and while our charter fleet brings things out to sea, so it's not.
Pardon me, Counselor, I'm messing us up. We should actually do a motion to reconsider, get that approved, and then we can do the discussion. So you can say we need a motion in a second and then have the discussion on why we're looking for the reconsideration. Get that done, then we can vote on the new resolution. Does that make sense? I know it's a process and I put it in the cover there to try to make things easier, but it's just the way we have to do it.
So I move to reconsider the motion of the November 12th, 24 City Council meeting approving resolution 565-64.
Second.
it's been moved to second to reconsider the motion of November 12th, resolution 565-24. Is there discussion on? No.
And it would be basically the discussion would be, we explain why, but do you want to allow the reconsideration?
Okay, so is there discussion on the motion? Can I have Jack and,
You want to have him come up when we reconsider, when this is approved?
okay,
After Councilor Beck has finished talking after I interrupted her.
okay. Is there any other discussion on the motion?
So we're voting on a motion to reconsider.
Yes.
Now we'll open up discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're good to go.
Okay, so this opens up this consideration of the resolution as presented. And so you could either say you want to approve as presented, or you can say discussion. Can I do it what you want to do?
Can I have Jack and?
I'm sorry, I interrupted Councilor Rec.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
I forget where it was, but essentially, it doesn't seem, fair that the charters that, bring their waste out, I mean, everybody, is benefiting from being in Depot Bay, but it's not equal, so it seems fair to cut that, proportionately.
Jeff, do you want to come up and address council?
So just to be clear, the new figures, 250?
Right.
Okay.
And then the 50 for the home occupation and the trades.
Go ahead. Currently, at the last city council meeting, city council voted to lump together charter fishing boats, which are moored at the dock in the harbor, and guide boats, which are launched from the public launch ramp, in the same category. A charter fishing boat is typically a larger boat designed to carry more passengers with a professional captain and crew, while a guide boat is usually smaller with a single guide focused on a smaller group of anglers. Guide boats usually accommodate 4 to 6 people. Charter fishing boats in our harbor, depending on the size, can accommodate 6 to 20 people. Charter fishing boats also have amenities like restaurants and cabins, and guide boats do not, and they should not be lumped in the same category. Should have, we feel, charter boats and guide boats, not all of them in the same category. And, okay, we're now charging, wish to drop a business fee for the charters from 500 to 250. And what I don't understand is why then the council doesn't charge all businesses registered with the city a $500 business fee, or a $250 business fee this evening. To me, that would be fair, but more money in the city's coffers to do that. The extra $250 for the guide boats for depositing their carcasses and city stuff, city facilities, there's no way for the city to ensure that that's being done. But I think that the extra money, charging for the extra money will cover the disposal anyhow. So I'm okay with charging all businesses registered within the city 250 business license fee. And regardless of how many times it's stated that there are those who refuse to believe that the harbor in Depoe Bay will never be self-supporting. The only way you can do that is to increase the fees to the point where you may start losing people who wish to use the harbor as a moorage.
Pardon me, our transcriptionist is having a hard time hearing you,
Okay,
so if you would,
I
mind
will.
speaking into that?
I sound awfully loud with hearing these things, so I will speak even louder.
Thank you.
Okay, the harbor of Depoe Bay is compared to many of the ports along the Oregon coast. The Depoe Bay Harbor is a city-owned harbor. It is not a port, nor does it offer the amenities that some ports are able to offer. Ports are independent of the city in which they're located. They are a port district, governed by a commission, supported by taxing the people within the port district, and are eligible for federal funding not available to non-port harbors like Depoe Bay. So when people compare us, go to Newport or Garibaldi or Coos Bay or wherever, it's really an unfair comparison, Depoe Bay. One way for the city to remove that is that headache that they're having with the harbor is to find someone willing to do the work required to establish the harbor as a port district and take it off the city's hands. And that can't be done in a hurry. And a port district of Depoe Bay would run from Otter Rock up to the Salisbury area. So I would urge the city council not to lump charter boats and guide boats in the same category, and that they charge all businesses in the city the same fee for a business license.
Thank you. I appreciate what Jack had to say, and I agree with him on that matter. And I'm glad that you reconsidered the $500 fee, and the $250 fee seems doable. The guide boats, we have to find a way to license them, but it's hard. It's really hard for someone to know who's using the garbage disposal to put their fish in there unless you have somebody down there actually monitoring it. I'd like to think there's a way maybe we can do it, but I appreciate where you're going with that. I just want you to know, I really do. Because I think what you said earlier, fair and equitable, is what we really need to talk about. If you guys looked at Depoe Bay last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, how many people were in town? Not one of those people were down at the harbor. They were up eating at the restaurants, they were buying stuff at the gift shops. Let's make it equitable for everybody. Like Jack said, that harbor never will be self-sufficient. We have put in all the stopgaps in the last 3 or 4 years that the city council has asked us. We've raised mortgage rates, raised business license, we've trying to look at raise the price of fuel every way we can to raise money. So I feel like as someone that spent a lot of my time and energy, and as well as Jack on the Harbor Commission, we've done our work. And I think it's time now that the rest of the council looks at the rest of the city to do their fair share to help the city. And I think that, like I said, all you have to do is take a look at what happened in our little town in the last 3 days, and people want to come here, but let's have them help us support our town. And I know that pretty soon we're gonna have some other discussions, whether it be restaurant tax, whether it be on the charter boat tax. I think everybody's willing to come to the table. We just want it fair. We want everyone to help support this city, and I think that's a good discussion that we can have on down the road. But right now with the city business tax, I like to see everyone, like Jeff said, pay the $250. Let's raise the revenue now and get the money into the city. So the taxes that they're paying now, or their license fees, are so ridiculously low. I was just surprised that they hadn't even been tapped into. So that's my feeling. And again, the Harbor Commission, I'm sorry we didn't get a meet. We didn't have a quorum of our meeting tomorrow. But it's nice when these things move to the Harbor Commission and to the city. So thank you.
Anybody have any questions on this? Thank you.
Thank you for coming forward. Okay, is there further discussion on the resolution?
I would like to just echo that the reason we changed the line items up above, the top line items, to be 150 down through the list was, again, that fair and equitable for everybody. If a business is a business, and they should all pay the same. And so I personally would not have a problem with the charters being charged the same as all the rest of the businesses in the city. I do think the guide boats that use the fillet stations and the trash cans and everything else should be paying more. But I would support the idea that the charter fishermen are just another business and that they should pay the same rate that all of the businesses are paying. And whether that number, I mean, already that number is almost twice what it normally was. We were $80 and something, I remember last year, for a business license. So we're charging almost double. I don't know that we could jump it to $250, at least not in that short 1 year time span. But I would support the $150 for the charters and keep the guide boats at the $500.
Would that include the transient always staying at 50?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, there's such a minimal amount of people. I would support the $50 as well as the charters being treated like all the rest of the businesses in town.
I go along with Bill on
charter, changing the 250 to 150 would be reasonable.
And keeping the others the same.
Are there any other corrections or additions to the resolution? With that correction, is there a motion to accept it as presented?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept resolution 565-24 with the
Discussion.
addition.
Discussion.
Pardon?
Discussion.
I'm sorry, with the additional correction of the 250 down to 150 for charters. Yes, ma'am. We're not charging enough to anybody for the amount of business that comes to this town. And, you know, people are using Highway 101, that's a huge asset. The businesses line 101, they don't pay parking, they benefit from being located on a highway. They don't provide their own parking in many cases. They're getting all the benefits of being in Depoe Bay. That's what this business license is, for the privilege of doing business in Depoe Bay. And the idea that the difference between 150 and 250 is gonna make or break any business in Depoe Bay strains the imagination. And yes, going from 88, which was way too low and had never been, updated for years and years, to, double, and if we did 250, it'd be a lot, but, that's our fault for not raising it incrementally over the years. I just think we're charging too low. After seeing how much the harbor charged us last time, I thought, and what other communities charge, coming cost the city, and if we added up what, the businesses cost the city, it's not as much as the harbor, but it's certainly, we're providing a lot of services and access and parking and everything else that the businesses don't provide. So I'd rather raise everybody to 250 except for the, guys with fish disposal rather than going down to 150. I disagree with that.
Yeah, I actually agree with that, or meet in the middle, 200.
See, I'm inclined to, charge lodging and food service more. That would be my vote. Because I think they benefit more and they're making more money, but I guess it depends on how we wanna measure it. It gets a little complicated.
But none of this, will alter the need to put in other revenue sources.
Correct.
So, this is just, this is a small drop in the bucket. I think there's 11 or 12 charter boats, so even if it is $500, we don't have 6,000 a year, it's like, it's so pitiful, contribution, but it all adds up.
Has the $150 gone into effect already from the 87?
No, this is
It's gonna go up.
$80-something right now.
Okay.
And change, so it would be almost doubling it at this point at the 150.
And when would that take effect?
First of the year.
Whenever we send the billing out, which is usually for the first of the year, so.
So maybe we could start with what we have proposed and then next year have the discussion beforehand and make so it's not such a severe jump.
Well, we were wrong in not addressing this earlier, and so that's the main issue that we're looking at. But I think that I don't wanna make too much of a jump. I think we can certainly let them know that this is something that's ongoing and we're looking at pricing, and it may go up again.
Why don't we set the business license fee now at 150 and 50, and 500 for the guys, but set it to automatically adjust to the cost of living index every year. Is that too hard?
Absolutely.
I think
No,
we've
no.
done that with other things.
We have other things that do that.
And it seems to me then we just, it's an expected increase and we go with whatever the inflation or lack of inflation will be.
So we need to add a sentence in there to tie it to the CPI every year.
Correct.
Do we need to bring it back to do that?
No, you can just say modified it with the addition of that.
I don't know if other people agree with that though, so people add, do you have a motion on
Right, so whoever made the motion would need to agree to that.
Okay, I made the motion, I agree.
you who seconded it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so is there any further discussion?
Well, just to clarify, so that would make it all 150,
Right.
so it's fair.
Right.
Okay,
Except for the training and home days.
this would be 50 and then
Yeah.
the
Guys.
guys votes would be 500, so.
Any other discussion? Okay, so let's clarify it then, it's 150 all the way down, including the charters, and it'll be tied to the CPI every year.
With the charter without fish disposal.
Right.
In keeping,
And I should probably not vote because I'm skin in the game.
Aren't we gonna come back with the short-term rental?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a different discussion.
Correct.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
One extension.
and one, yeah,
One abstention, yeah.
got it. Okay, we have a first reading of a nuisance ordinance, which is rampant throughout our city. Here's everyone had a chance to read this and memorize it.
And I'm asking for the first reading, the second reading, first reading by title only, second reading by title only, and adoption tonight. Because this, I've been working on this has been standing out, the raccoon situation is getting very bad, the feral cat situation is getting very bad. And, I'd like to help work with, get this into place that will allow the VFW to also do some of their actions and support us, so.
So is the reason we don't have a formal ordinance number in this?
Yes, because we change and drop ordinances, it doesn't change the fact that we don't give it in a number. It's okay if we don't assign a number, we sign it when we, after it's approved. I know it's very weird, but,
this is basically one street, one neighborhood, that has
no, there's others, but the reason this really got kicked off was for one particular gentleman who asked for it, but over the past, especially the past month, I've heard about it worse than other
Okay.
spots. And it's not a deep city of Depoe Bay issue, it's Lincoln Beach. It's a city Newport, several cities around us have adopted either something like this, added something like this to their ordinances, one of them did the feral cat. So, because people leaving out food for feral cats, raccoons don't go, well, that's for a cat, I need that. So, so it's kind of, that's why the feral cats is in there. I don't know if you guys noticed that, I wanna make sure people understand because, but I did talk to, Paul Stites, the Lincoln County Solid Waste Manager, has been helping me with the other situation, and I'll have an update for you at the end of the meeting, but him and I have been, it's not really his area, he's got connections, and him and I have been brainstorming a way that he might be able to address that, so I'll probably bring that back to you in December.
Okay, moving forward, is there a motion to read
Can
title?
I ask staff a question before we get to the motion?
Was that, I'm just doing for title only, to read title
Oh,
only.
So I will, I move for a first reading by title only of ordinance XXX-24.
Is there a second?
yeah,
It's been moved and seconded to read an ordinance amending the Depoe Bay Municipal Code by repealing sections 94.25 through 94.29 and 94.99, deposit or storage of garbage, refuse, rubbish, or junk of chapter 94, and adopting new sections 94.25 through 94.37 and 94.99 of chapter 94, nuisances, and declaring an emergency. Is there any discussion on this motion? Oh, this was by title only.
Oh,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So I'll open up for,
But you wanna do, you
Second
wanna
reading?
discuss, you wanna do a second reading by title only.
okay,
But then we would have Councilor Marcelo, then you would move for the adoption.
so is there a motion to read second reading of ordinance dash 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 24?
I will move for a second reading by title only of ordinance XXX.
I will make that clearer and easier next time, I promise.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded to read ordinance dash 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 24 by title only. Is there, no, there's no discussion on this.
yeah, so I would like to
No,
just say, it
we
seems
gotta-
like
We gotta do title
We
only.
gotta vote for this, and then we'll discuss.
it's title only though, right?
Yeah.
So we just made a motion and a
A
second?
second time.
Oh, for title only?
Yeah.
Title only.
And then we can discuss the
Yeah,
motion for title only, okay?
For adoption,
No, I wanna discuss the second,
title, reading of
the
title
second
only.
reading for title only.
Okay, then he would be appropriate now.
So this came to us 2 days ago, or 3 days ago. The public, if they happened to visit the website, got it. So we're trying to enforce an ordinance about nuisances on the public without giving them an awful lot of opportunity to be able to be here to provide any kind of comment. And so I'm just concerned that we're doing a full adoption of a new, an adjustment to our city ordinances without a lot of public opinion.
This came up months ago. We moved through this thing months ago thoroughly. It's been out there, it just is.
I had to make some changes to it based on some feedback I got from Councilor Rec in essence, so this is the first time it's been re-brought back.
Well, aren't you deeming it an emergency too?
Well, I am deeming it an emergency, if the council so wishes, we could postpone it to December 3rd.
It seems to me that this is more of a health and safety issue. So anybody that is negligent or deliberately, attracting nuisance pests and stuff, I don't know what people could say that would sway me in deciding we didn't need an ordinance like this.
I think people's most concerns with this type of ordinance is how it affects the songbirds. In fact, I had somebody say, well, at least somebody say I can feed the songbirds.
Right, but that's an exception.
Exactly, so that's what people, but it doesn't stop people from feeding the songbirds. But it's up to the council, if the council wishes to.
I don't see how public feedback would help at this point. It's an emergency and we need to stop it.
In general, I believe that's a good idea to not do first and second readings, but in this case, I don't believe that's necessary.
Is there any further discussion on the title only? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now. So let's go ahead and move, is there a motion to adopt ordinance dash 24, amending our municipal code?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to go forward with accepting motion an ordinance amending the Depoe Bay Municipal Code by repealing sections, blah, blah, blah. Do I have to read all that?
Not for the adoption.
Thank you. I'll open up the floor for discussion. Yes.
It seems to me that, kind of going off what Bill said in a different direction though, that it's really important that we tell people that we have a new ordinance in place, right?
Yes, yeah.
And there's language that we could just pull from the ordinance and put on our website. Here, you can read the full ordinance, but, remember, this is for not to attract raccoons and rats and feral cats. And it does, exempts songbirds and, and domestic animals. So I think we could just take the wording, I'm sorry, I lost my place here, but from the ordinance and get that up on the website so people are aware. So that might be a good thing to do.
I actually also plan on mailing it out to the properties that are under
That's good.
consideration.
Yeah, so on page 35, Kim, at the very top, it says furthermore, chapter 94, sections 94, 25 through 37, and then it says attached herein. And so I didn't see, unless what's listed down under exhibit is the attachment. And so I just wasn't clear what you were doing there. And then you referenced the Lincoln County Code, sections 2 through wherever, and I didn't know what this section down here was. Is it the Lincoln County Code? Is it our new ordinance? What is, well, these two lines? I'm not sure where the data is for those two lines in what I'm seeing.
For the first line, I should have simply put attached as exhibit A. That would have made it a whole lot clearer.
Okay,
The second line is the Lincoln County Code isn't included here, but it's included by reference, meaning that you guys are adopting it by reference, but it's not here. And the animal control, is their dog control and how they address these things, and it just enables Casey to enforce these things for us.
I'm just concerned we're adopting something that we don't know what it is. We haven't had it, I mean, I didn't go and pull Lincoln County Code Chapter 2 and all of those sections, and it would have been nice to be able to read through those so that we knew what we were including into the ordinance. And then on page number 38, item number 5, there is an exclusion for domestic cats under animal waste, and I'm just curious why we decided to exclude cats.
Which one? Page?
Section 5 on page 38. We're specifically excluding other than a domestic cat.
Everybody lives their cats where no one lives and doesn't pick up after.
Well, that's part of the problem, when you can't take a kid over to the park.
Well,
because-
that's exactly what it's saying. I mean, people let their cats roam. We can't address that, because how would we know? But people don't generally let their dogs roam. I mean, generally they're on leashes.
And I hope cats aren't left to roam with all the coyotes
People
out
let
there.
cats roam all the time. I see them wandering around the city all the time. Yes, I wonder about that too, but that's what happens. But we can't control what people, their cats.
That's why that's in there.
That's why that's in there. So we're saying we can't do anything about it, so we could change that to say includes domestic cats, but we can't, it's
There's no- it
an
becomes unenforceable.
unenforceable. We can control dogs to the extent we see it, hear about it, and find out that sort of situation, but cats are another critter, so many ones.
Those are my comments about this.
I did bring up the Lincoln County Code, if you guys are interested in seeing it. It's under, animal control.
What page? Maybe you could send it out to us.
I can, 2605 is, about animal bites, quarantine order, quarantine form, and order to destroy animals. So we had a report over the summer, for instance, about a dog that was kind of threatening. Our current code doesn't really address whether or not our deputy can do anything about it. This adds the language that allows our deputy to deal with a scary dog. But I'm happy to send it out. It just gives more teeth to the ability for them to handle this type of situation. I mean, he went out and tried to anyway, but he never did, as far as I know, he was not able to find the dog loose at one point, but it just didn't give as much teeth if we didn't have that in here. But yes, I'm happy to send it out. It doesn't include, it includes proof of sterilization, reports of rabies. We wouldn't necessarily format because Lincoln County Sheriff's is our code enforcement for animal matters. We don't enforce on dogs. That is what the Lincoln County does. So having us put this code and say, we go along this code, it enables them to control that.
Alrighty. Is there any other further discussion? All in favor of the motion to accept this ordinance? Say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Thank you.
And we'll probably put a notice up, on the post office. I think we'll do a flyer notice for the post office.
Oh, that would be great.
Put them on Facebook, and get the word out, send it to the HOAs. I think there will be a lot of, relief for this type of thing being in Clinton the city.
So, sections 3 and 4, those are the, I think, pertinent ones, and then you can say refer to the rest of it.
Perfect. We have a wastewater treatment plant, the catwalk. Does everyone have a chance to review that?
Okay, yeah, okay, so sorry, they read a very detailed report, AKS does. Actually, I don't think John writes it, I think Deja writes it. So you understood that the person that actually was low bid, which by about $20,000-$30,000 low bid, they didn't provide all of their material. It's past the 7-day protest material period, so that's why that's our next low bid. The highest was 400, yeah, 400 and some thousand.
Almost 500,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very different.
Crazy. Okay, so, is there a motion to accept this, proposal from, let's see, what is it,
R.L. Reimers.
R.L. Reimers as presented for $292,725.
And I think I forgot to put in there and authorize the mayor to execute the contract.
I'll move that.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the capital improvement project for our wastewater treatment plant, the catwalk replacement from R.L. Reimers. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Is this a shared?
Excuse me, sorry. I just wanna say I've had a tour of the sewer treatment plant area with John actually, and this project is desperately needed. Y'all don't want our workers falling in that.
Not in that, no.
So I fully support.
And just so you know, it won't get done until probably close to the May, June time period, right after, before the end of this school year, because they have to empty the clarifier, because you know what they're working in that next.
Yeah. And it is cool.
It is cool, yes, absolutely.
Fran, did you have?
Yeah, is this the one that has just a very short window to get done?
No, well, yes and no. We can only do it when they take the clarifier down in the summer. But we need to get it done by June 30th to get it in this fiscal year,
Okay, so
and they're well aware of that.
Right, so I was,
That's-
I'm not finding what I looked at before, but I was very pleased to see a penalty
Yeah,
clause in there if it's not, so that is really helpful, thank you.
yeah, we need the hydraulic room this winter because of rain. And then when it tapers off, we'll have that window of opportunity.
Any other discussion?
Is it a full item?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We had an LED quote that came in, and then we have one as an additional for you to review as well.
The reason they went and got a second quote is I've been talking to them about apples to apples comparisons when you get quotes, so it makes it easier for us to decide. So the operator went ahead and contacted those two and said, I need an apples to apples. I mean, you saw the first one, but then they decided that they didn't need to replace the poles, right, Brady? Because the
Right.
poles were in pretty good condition.
Yeah, they really are.
That's why it changed quite a bit. We have budgeted, as you can tell by what I put in the report, we budgeted quite a bit for that. There may be a few interior things that need to be done, but we won't go anywhere near our budget.
Yeah, that's good news for a change. I've got a question.
Oh, yes, what's that?
So, I don't know what was specified, but, I saw it, I think, in, green light, but not Western, that the lights would be, LED lights would be shielded, outside shielded, and I'm wondering if, that's a requirement, and how it should be, an angle down. And also, I'd like it to be a yellow rather than the white LEDs. We can start getting the yellow LEDs that, planning commission still hasn't worked on the lighting.
Do you see
But that's what's in there.
With the
No.
warm light, with the,
I
warm,
think they may be transitional.
What's transitional in?
Well, so there's settings on them. You can have cool.
like
warm.
City Hall does right now, a lot of the LED fixtures and lights come with, you can change from warm
Cool.
light to
But
cool
if
to.
not, it doesn't seem like it's a very hard ask, I don't think.
It isn't.
So they should be shielded, angled down, and yellow in town.
Yes. Yes.
This is right in a residential area.
We'll make sure that.
Yeah, they're gonna be real similar to what's there. So yeah.
So, to kind of, carry with what, Councilor Rapp was saying, there must be a significant cost difference because, when Greenlight quoted it, they did 9 of them that were not shielded. And they only did 2 of them that were shielded. And so, I think it might be worth figuring out what the difference is in the price to make sure that they're all shielded.
Do you know where the ones that might not be shielded have been? Like, are they ones that are over by the building itself? I mean, are they ones that would be?
Yeah, I think they're the ones that are over by the houses. that
Well,
are
then
shielded.
you would definitely want those shielded, not the 2 that aren't.
I think what's currently there is like that.
Unshielded.
They're shielded where the houses are, they won't shine on them, like.
Well, that's what they're saying, but what he's saying is that green light, those 2 were going to be unshielded.
Yeah.
And I
think
wondered if those were in any specific location, like right up against the building, or it's just.
Yeah, those are more towards the office, away from, the neighborhood houses. So it's be south of the, entryway.
When we talk to them, we'll make sure that they are the warm and shielded, but at least make sure they're pointing down and they're not gonna directly impact wherever these particular things are, that they won't directly impact the residents.
So do we need a motion then to?
It's over 10,000, so I need your guys, it's over 10,000, so well, actually, it's not under 10,000, but let's go ahead and do it anyway.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept Western States electrical bid as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept Western States electrical bid for the lights. Is there discussion on the motion?
There again, during my tour with John, lighting is so critical in that area, big time. So I was really happy to see this come forward.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, short-term rental, Department of Revenue, Kim give us an update on that, and it looks like it's a no-go at this time. Did you have any discussion or questions?
I don't understand that.
Mm-mm.
What
It's
our
just,
problem was that we couldn't fix.
that's the thing, that's what I was just gonna say, the option is for us to fix it.
Yeah.
That was what my comment was.
That is essentially what I'm asking, is the direction you want it fixed. because-
We need to reconfigure Worldmark to be transient lodging like everybody else is, that's the fix.
So we talked at the last meeting about going out for RFP on a Granicus style thing in light of the fact that the DR wouldn't oversee our program, but it seems to me if we can fix the ordinance, which we're gonna probably have to make some changes to anyway, as we start talking about the next part of the SDRs, that would be a lot better than trying to find a program that's going to be very expensive to do what these have to do. So, the council concurs with, let's see what we can do to fix it.
Yeah. I've never understood what we've done with WorldWide. I mean, I don't understand the calculation, I don't know where it comes from, and how we ultimately get paid for transient lodging taxes from them anyway. So I think it's worth the city diving into that and understanding how we deal with those fractions, because it's a significant portion of our revenue.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Get going on that. We added a resolution. We need a resolution for the purchase of the real property.
So the reason this came up is the title company asked me, what do you have showing that not only is this property purchase approved, but that she's authorized to sign for it? And I said, oh, oops. Because in our motion, even though it approved the property purchase, it didn't say and directs the mayor to execute the documents. Then I have to look in to see if we'd ever done a resolution before, when I saw other cities did it. And I thought, well, we've never done a resolution, but other cities, that's a common theme, so I thought we'd probably better redo it to make sure all of our ducks are. So the resolution is to just simply say, we did this, we approved it at the November 12th meeting, we want to give the mayor the blessing to go ahead and sign these documents for us. I went round and round with Western Title on this week. They were very confused.
Outrageous.
That's all it is, it's just, if the purchase has already been approved, this just basically says, yes, it's been approved, but we want her to sign for us.
Is there a motion to accept a resolution in the city of Depot Bay authorizing the purchase of real property?
I'll make that motion.
Oh, pardon me, and what did I say? Did I say on this thing?
The mayor.
Yes, and what did I say on that? I can't remember. I don't have it in front of me. I don't have it in front of me. Does it say it?
We have to specify the property?
No, it does specify the property. Just instruct the mayor to,
Authorize.
sorry. Oh, I didn't put it on there, but just clear that you're authorizing the mayor to execute it. Does say that below, but just to make it loud and clear in the motion.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to accept this resolution as presented. Is there discussion on the motion?
Mayor, this is Rick Beasley. I have a question.
Yes.
Did we have an appraisal on this property? And if not, and if we didn't, why not?
We did not.
Why would we not want an appraisal on the property before we close the deal?
For $135,000, it seemed like a good deal, and the owner wanted to close within the next month, so we moved forward on it.
Well, I mean, it seems like a good deal. I've never heard that phrase in municipal purchases before. Don't we always have an appraisal? Isn't that just part of the process of being responsible to the residents?
Well, we did not on the Bowen property either. Over by the post office.
We didn't buy that though, did we?
I know that we didn't have a appraisal before we put a bid on it.
I think it's required to have a appraisal if we're using public money to acquire property, like grant money.
Right.
If you need to do a specific type of appraisal depending on the source of money. But you don't, yeah,
And what did that appraisal cost us last time?
7,000 or.
No, more than
It was
that.
like 25?
Yes.
It was like $25,000
And
for
it
appraisal.
wasn't
The
right.
yellow book appraisal.
So,
Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Oh,
Okay, city staff reports. Project updates. As always, the list is, how many pages?
This isn't all of it.
I know.
This is just I would take, it would take me a long time to put everything down, so, I don't have any new report from John, but I will after Friday, because he'll be in town on Friday, so we'll get some updates. But suffice to say, things are just on his end, he's just doing a lot of things, I think at the next meeting, there's a couple things that I've asked him to put a hold on right now, because I need direction from you before I need you to know how much we're spending on something, to actually get final approval to keep moving forward. Some of this stuff we had said, well, what would this cost? Well, some of it is becoming more of a, I don't wanna spend any more money until I get the whole council to say, yes, we wanna do this. Let's see, Cook Avenue, so I just wanna throw something at you. I'm just looking for a feeling here. Paul met with her, talked to her quite a bit today. And, he basically, there was some resistance and he told her essentially, fine. You know, essentially he told her, we're gonna take our toys and go home. Meaning that if you don't work with us, we won't provide a dumpster, we won't be doing anything like this. But he's gonna pull it anyway because we're getting into bad weather. So, he talked to her and apparently after an hour later, he got her at least verbally agreeable to signing some kind of agreement that we will have to put together that basically says by such and such date, and I'll drop the date on you here in a minute, by such and such date, these things have to be done. And if at the end of this date, they are not done, the city will move into immediate enforcement, immediate abatement, which means bringing somebody in and hauling everything out. Now, as you know, the council was at the point where you have already did that, we haven't gotten to the point of saying, we're going to abate it, because I frankly have not known what to do because of the situation, which you're all well versed in the situation. And it's kind of a scary, dangerous, potentially fraught with dangerous situation.
Why?
So, because of the instability of the person affected. And taking that, we would have to remove her
From the property.
from the property if we wanted to do something. City's only apparently ever done this once before, and it was a 2-year progress with the condemnation and everything. So I'm trying to do everything I can to not go that way. However, it's still your decision. She's asking, and I don't actually honestly know if he suggested a date or she did. She's asking for the end of June.
June?
I told him, I said, well, given that fact that she was supposed to have this done last year,
Yeah.
2023, and then she was supposed to have it done, she had all this summer, I said, I cannot guarantee that the council will give her that long. I said, before we move any further, I wanna get a temperature check from you guys. It's entirely up to you. The good news is the county will continue to support us on that. They've only had to spend up about $375 on the dump, you know. At the end of this June time period, he's saying all of those RVs and that property has to be cleaned up. That's what he's saying we should say. And that as of July 1st, if it's not, then we just do it. And we're gonna know by June 1st whether or not, or we're gonna even know by May. So, I just need to know where you're at. If the absolute is no, here's my line in the sand, then I have to find out what that means and what the silly is, are you going to condemn that property?
I think that if we say, okay, that's fine, we've given it to her again, like we've been doing, I think that we need to maybe have a shorter time frame to let her know that we're listening, but
She's complaining about the weather, as she did last year. She
But
has
she'll-
other things, so you guys know what's outside right now.
well, she's had years.
It's up to you, I'm just saying we will put into agreement whatever you wanna try.
In
So-
2010, 10, we did the Reese property. We hired a contractor to clean the Reese property on South Point.
But they weren't living there.
No, and I'd asked that question.
They
They weren't living there, I was told. So a woman had been staying there, but they weren't, it was a tenant. This is a resident, she lives there.
So is abatement condemnation? I mean, we're basically
We
going
would go in and
to,
clean it up.
but she still gets to live there.
And it would end up having to be some kind of condemnation. I don't honestly know the steps. I will have to definitely get our attorneys
I guess
involved.
that was my, really where I was going with
Because it
this
would,
is-
we couldn't, there's no way we could abate that property and send somebody to clean it up if they're still there.
No.
It wouldn't happen. It would be
Does-
very dangerous for
Does the
them.
city do foreclosure? So obviously she's getting a fine every day for the days that it's not cleaned up based on our current
No,
ordinances, right?
we have not issued
And
any
so
fines because
we-
she's not gonna ever pay them.
Well, so
But that's
if we
not-
were to do that, we could then send her to
Yeah.
foreclosure and
Yes.
we could take her
We
property
should
from
be
her.
finding her every single day.
She should be getting a fine every day.
Okay,
Absolutely.
But, we, because then we can take it to foreclosure and we can say she hasn't paid the fines. We can put the lien on her house, we're now going to go into foreclosure, we're gonna take her house.
I just wanna make sure you guys understand what this will look like to your residents.
Well, look at the residents. who live
I
there.
understand that, but if there's one more chance of maybe working something out, even with a short time frame, wouldn't it be better to do that before we say we're taking your property?
What about if we give her either or, either have it all cleaned up by the end of March, or you're gonna have a daily fine?
We could do that too.
And I like that.
I like that.
Oh, that's what
Okay, is everybody okay with that?
Can we do the end of April?
That's up to you, that's up
To me, it's gonna be so awful and hard and almost impossible to do the abatement route, that I think we should, give her to April or May. I mean, I don't even care if it's June, as long as it happens. And if she gets a fine starting on March 1, a daily fine until done, that'll give her some incentive maybe. Is that what you suggested?
No, I think she's saying to cut the date off as March first,
Oh.
if it's not done,
Okay.
then she gets a daily fine. You don't wanna fine her and give her to the end of June, that's not
I
nice.
see, okay.
But you're concerned about what it would look like to the rest of the city?
Well, yeah, I mean, taking somebody's property is a big concern, regardless of how we do it.
But it's a health and safety
I
risk
get
to all
it.
the neighbors,
So taking property, it's just, you guys get to be the hard decision makers. I'm just advising you, as my job is, the same thing the attorney would, is you have to think about what that would look like. And what kind of response you're gonna get. Sure, you're gonna get the neighbors going, rock on, but you're gonna get some people that are gonna be, wow, the city's taking this person's property. I get why they're doing it, but they're doing it. That's what I'm
Wake up.
But it's been 15
No,
years.
it's been however many years, no. Well, she's had, no, I'm sorry, I'm really strong on this one.
Well, I'm
And
hearing
March.
two different things here. I'm hearing date certain, and then I'm hearing, do we wanna do the combination? What do you wanna do?
I wanna do date certain, get all your stuff out by the end of March, or the
Or
daily
fines.
fines start April 1st.
And I think we should actually set a limit on that too,
I agree.
because I don't wanna have the burden of charging a daily fine that we know will not get collected till another 10 years.
But by having the daily fine on the books, it allows us to then put a lien on her property.
Right.
And force it to foreclosure.
I think if we got some kind of an estimate, we could still put a lien on our property anyway, so.
But we'd have to go down the abatement route, right?
Mhm,
So
we were-
that's
yeah,
where
right.
that's where you would put an abatement, make her pay for it, and I mean, it's basically the same thing. I just think it's difficult.
I don't even know how you get on that property and take her away so you can do that abatement. She's, threatened violence all the time. And so you'd have to arrest her for threatening violence or actually carrying on violence and then do it while she's, incarcerated. It's not gonna be easy in any case.
Well, and who's to say how long she'd be incarcerated? it's gone in a day or two.
What kind of a fine are you thinking?
I think it's for that, I think it's
$500 a day. That's what.
500 a day for any
Violation?
Most violations are 500 a day. There's a few of them that are a little bit different, but most of them are 500 a day. That's, so,
That adds up really quickly.
we do this, and again, this is not me trying to sway you, it's just throwing the options out. Given her volatile nature, putting that hard line of a deadline on her, plus the threat of will likely shut her down. Maybe she won't do anything.
She hasn't done anything for 15
She hasn't done
years.
anything for God knows how long.
She got the cards out, guys.
She did get
has-
some, and she has been working in there.
I know.
Paul has been visiting for the last 2 months, and they've emptied dumpsters, and they've emptied 7 or 8 of them. And he said she is, because I told him the same thing this last week, I said, I'm not seeing anything. He said, I've been there, he said she is making progress. Not fast enough for us or the neighbors, and I get it, I really have a lot of empathy and sympathy for those neighbors, I get it. But it has been going on and been allowed to go on for so long, it's really, it's almost a little bit less sympathy when you say 2 years now, you gotta do it. We've been here all this time, we should give her a decent amount of time to get it resolved. Meaning your deadline, but I think it will shut her down. But I'm happy to do that, I will talk to Paul about it. He said that they had to take the dumpster away because she's just not gonna be able to do it because of the rain and stuff like that. But he would be willing to put it back out there. When, he said, what he told her is that, she says, I just need 3 sunny days. So he told her to notify him next time there was 3 sunny days, and he would get a dumpster out there right away.
He's wonderful.
He has done he's been working with the Department of Health and her assistants, but they're limited what they can do with somebody in this condition.
It'll take more than 3 days.
I know.
Worse than that.
We all know that.
Has anyone ever entered her house?
You can't go in.
I know.
No, she lives in that house.
She was in her meeting.
No, she lives in the house.
Well, she just moved in.
Paul says she lives in the house. We have not, none of us have been on that property and in that area, so we don't know. So I'm gonna trust what he says.
Isn't there an easement on the side of that property for
Yeah,
city
for sewer.
services?
Yeah, city
So
sewer.
is that easement
It's
cleared?
completely cluttered. It's got RVs on
It's got
it.
the
If we have to
timber
get in there
on
and
it.
work on the sewer line, we have to literally remove all that.
Guys, excuse me, pardon me, that's not respectful. This has been going on for 10 years. We've had more action in the last 2 years on this property that have been over 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm just asking to be mindful that it has been allowed to continue for this long. And that we're making progress, and to realize this is not something we can move real fast. And I know, I've been dealing with this since I've been here.
She might not sign.
She might not sign with that.
We have no alternative other than going the condemnation route, which is not a good thing.
So should we just go to the June 30th and then say $500 a day? It's gonna
Well,
happen.
No, after June 30th, then
We do it,
we just do
pull the
it.
trigger.
Okay, well, that's
So no
what she
fine,
wants, and so we'll
meanwhile,
give
no
it to her
time.
and let her face the consequences.
We'll just do it and fine, what the hell?
Just do it all out.
We don't wanna go the abatement route, if we don't have to. So if this is really gonna happen,
All over.
then she's gonna do something. So what do we say we tell her, did Paul say that after that we would take action?
He's leaving it up to you, the
Well, no,
council,
what did he
he's
say?
both him and I are in agreement.
But
We will
what did he tell
forward
her?
Yes,
He told her,
he did not tell her what we would decide because he didn't know.
Because he didn't know.
Right, he doesn't know, it's not his call
no,
to
but
say what he goes
what
to
did
do.
he suggest?
He didn't suggest anything, he said that, he suggested, well, what he said is there would need to be some kind of agreement. He told her there would need to be some kind of agreement with a timeline, and this and this needs to be done.
Okay,
by a certain date. We talked about when we came into this meeting today, that the city would forbear any further actions against, her, from us. But I told him today, I said, I can't do that if we pass this nuisance and we get complaints that she's feeding raccoons, but apparently she's not, she's just leaving food out for feral cats. So, anyway, so we would simply write I'd work with our attorney to say, as of July first, if this is done, not done, this full timeline, everything,
Okay.
6 RVs, the van, everything cleaned up, gone by July first, we will immediately, whatever we can,
And
whatever
if
we
she
can
signs
do.
it, then we're
And she
covered.
would sign it. He says, Paul said, to make sure, he said it would be, she would sign it, the city would sign it, and the county would sign it, because they will continue to provide financial reports, so we're not paying to have these RVs through them. So realistically, there's unlikely to be any money out of our pocket going this
I
route.
like that,
Going the other route, we'll pay.
okay, I like that.
Okay. Are we all in agreement then?
I will
June
get
30th.
I will get the attorney to come up with a draft agreement, we'll come up with, and I will present it to you guys. I can't guarantee we'll be December 3rd, Thanksgiving is next weekend, but definitely after the first of the year. Thank
And
you.
obviously, she gets along with Paul, so maybe after we approve it, Paul should be the one that presents it to her for signature.
I'm bad cop, he's good cop.
Yeah,
She likes it.
He's good.
Yeah. No, not our Paul, Paul's like,
I know.
yeah, Paul's happy to be the good cop, he says. She likes him a lot, so it's always good when you have somebody work with somebody you really like.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Jen.
Thank you. I know that's tough and I appreciate that and I really get your frustration. I really do. It's been a thorn in my side, because I just been struggling with what to do and not to do without upsetting too many apple carts. And I told Paul today, if the council directs me to take the hard line, I will take it. Because that's what you wanted, but I'm really like, as much as it may be painful, I appreciate that.
Do you wanna tell us about this, PSU class?
Oh, this is just for your information, and this is mostly for the ones who will, and I'm going to send it to our new counselors coming up. But this is and it doesn't actually hurt anybody that is currently on the council from taking this as well. This is just their class on how to be effective counselor, and it's basically council government 101. So it lets you know, how the government works, how the finance work, how your ethics and all that stuff. Now, they're doing this they'll do a Zoom, I think is what it says, but it's where is it?
And the city pays for this?
Yes, the city would pay for this. I would recommend the city pay for it, you have money in your city council budget. And I think it's a good chance it does include veterinarians and counselors. I mean, the laws change all the time, for instance, as Councilor Musella, I know, knows, he's been to the public meetings law class. So there's been a lot of changes, and this is for people who are here. And if the council goes as a council, it's really good team building.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'm gonna share it with the new council, and it's really up to the council as a whole, if you wanna go, and you want me to sign you up and help out with anything, just let me, we'll
Is
help
it a
you.
free lunch? I can't tell.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, free lunch, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to go personally.
Awesome. Okay. It's 275 with additional participants from the same jurisdiction. When is that? When did I say that was? December 7th.
Saturday.
Oh, Rose, I can't go.
I can't go either. Okay. Well, anybody
If
wants
you
to
wanna
go?
go, let me know. And I already heard you from you, Councilor Watson, so I will take care of you. This next item is just for information, something I am dialed into all of this tourism stuff now that we don't have a chamber. And, until I get you the RFP for the DMO, which will be at the December 3rd meeting. Until we have that in place, I'm just getting these information. This is a package, for basically tourism marketing, you know. I didn't know if there was any interest. It's a really good deal through Travel Oregon and KATU. They have the prices on here, so it's like most of them are over half done. I don't know if the council has any interest in that. We did budget marketing and promotion money for next year, or for this fiscal year. So this might be a good way to look at paying for it, or doing the one of them.
Does that price include all of the filming and setup and
Really?
putting it together?
That's an exceptional.
It's an-
Yeah, depends on mind you, it depends on what package you do. Like, for example, one of them, the mayor could actually be interviewed by KATU.
No, thank you.
It would be great filming now that the work is being done
On the harbor, yeah. If we did a group party down at the harbor, we could all do that. I'm in favor of it. It looks.
You're gonna bring back more information.
Well, this is pretty much the details. I would really kind of like you guys to give me what package do you want? I mean, they have the lifestyle segment. This is when the American
A la carte.
a la carte. I was hoping that you guys would give me an option to go from. They have this option B, which is the 15-second, all these plug in the city, essentially, it gives you the times. What I would do is if you had a particular option that you were more interested, I would reach out to these folks and say, okay, what does this look like and what do you need from us? Does it have a deadline? That is another question.
Mayor,
Yes.
thank you. This is Rick Beasley. I think that it would be premature to do something like this because I would prefer that we sit down and look at our capacity and exactly what we want to do in terms of marketing our city and have some discussions before we actually do something like this. I would agree it's a good price and it might be a good program, but I just don't think the time is now to be making decisions on what our marketing should be without deciding what it is that we want to accomplish.
We have a new harbor opening up here in a couple of months. I think that it would be a great marketing tool for that.
I don't see a deadline, but I would imagine that if you look at, say, for example, option A, they have a campaign date, 3 weeks, Q1 2025, 15-second messages. Option B is also Q1 2025. You could do a Q2, I don't know what they're saying, and then the connected TV or the top video is like 3 weeks. So, I mean, if you want, if they're looking at Q1, then their deadline's gonna be pretty soon, but it doesn't seem to indicate that there. But I can find out about it. Maybe we can wait till December 3rd. I see if we can wait till December 3rd.
Okay, so
maybe
we'll get
there's
some more information.
Kim, what would TV/digital be?
They call that, how they do it, your message is served to people that no longer have a cable subscription. Daily video consumption has exploded. That's net investment. I don't think.
5,000 impressions, I think it says, for
Yeah,
video streaming there.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Okay.
And I made sure to put their reach in there for you, Councilor Marcelo.
Yeah, thank you.
So maybe you look at the reach.
Option B is extremely attractive, especially since they are gonna do a production of the 15-second message that's gonna be broadcast 41 times
Yeah.
for $3,000.
I think it's.
That's like, you can't buy that kind of advertising generally for $3,000. I mean, it just seems to me to be,
An opportunity.
well, it's less than half price, so.
Yeah.
I'd like to see what their concept is for the creative on it. I would not even think about buying something that I don't know what it is they're gonna run.
Yeah, the creative will be that 15-second production, that's gonna be the big part.
Well, we're gonna have to direct it if we want, I mean, not direct it, but to
Well,
Suggest.
suggest,
Yeah, right, you're gonna provide the content.
what is our, what is our message that we wanna get out?
They will be looking at you to tell them that.
Yeah, is it storm watching, is it, means, are we trying to get?
Hits and beds is what we need.
Yeah, but is it off-season versus summer, we don't need more people there in summer, that sort of thing.
No.
I had, are we gonna continue talking about this?
No.
I was gonna change the subject, so let's finish.
Okay, we did.
If there's more interest in option B,
Oh,
all right, I will reach out to these two folks and find out what that looks like and get you some more information. And if we don't have to firmly commit until after December 3rd, I will definitely bring it back to you. And if we have to firmly commit, I may ask you for a special quick session.
Well, they probably have it for two too, it's not like they're only gonna offer it one time.
Right, and as far as I know, they could be doing it, you're right, for other quarters. And I can ask that question as well. It's like, we're interested in this, but we wanna give it
More
more
deep
thought.
Might be better to do it in quarters, three,
Exactly.
for example.
Especially if we wanna try to target the whale watchers, the summer folks.
No,
Do you want to bring more people here during the summer?
no,
Keep that every.
I wanted to ask Kim about these events. You have so much on your plate, I don't know how much time you're planning to expend on these.
The Parks and Rec
Tree
folks are doing this. The tree lighting, we're all doing. I'm not really doing much on that. Guys are putting the tree up. We have a Santa. Kathy gets donated cookies from Chester's.
Yeah.
And so I'm not really doing anything on that.
Holiday craft fair, holiday community.
That craft fair is, I'm putting it on because I put it on last year, but I'm just opening up the tables and the guys are doing the setup. And then the other item, the pop is happening.
I do that.
I'm not doing the potlucks, you can have it.
So I'm just curious, I know I was there last year, it was really nice, and how do you get your table set up? I mean, do
All
people
the
contact the
volunteers.
city and they sell?
Oh, they do it all. I don't set up, you mean the craft fair?
But yeah, but how do they know about it?
Oh, I opened it up initially to the people that did it last year
Okay.
because it's very limited space.
Okay.
But they have until the end of this week to respond and then I'm opening it up to everybody.
Okay.
But if you have somebody else that's in mind, let me know.
I don't know, I'm just curious.
They just fill an application, do the room setup, since we did this once last year, it's really easy, and I do it over the weekend.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other project updates? Okay, are there any closing public comments?
Oh, I just say I'm from the Toledo City Council and
Oh,
the way it's interesting to hear what you guys have to say and the way you do your meetings and such. We just did an ethics seminar, which I would encourage you to do, especially if you have new people coming on your commission and such on it.
well, isn't Lisa putting together some kind of, so I've asked the Ethics Commission.
Did you wanna come up and sign it? please?
I've asked the Ethics Commission, I think I told you guys last time, about having a in-person workshop on the public meetings laws. Lisa, the city recorder for Toledo, reached out to the coastal cities and said, hey, we're trying to bring them here. So I think Lisa's putting something together on that.
Yeah, if your insurance is CIS,
Yes.
okay, she lives here, or she has a house here in Depoe.
In
Bay.
Depoe Bay, really?
Yeah,
I
so
did not know
it's
that.
long. So,
This
So-
camera,
Camera code.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yes.
different. Yeah. I'm with you.
We know, yeah.
okay.
Okay, thank you, Sue. Any other comments? All right. And council comments? Yes, Bill.
Yeah, I just wanna, invite everybody to the Depoe Bay Light Show.
Yes.
Behind Troller's Lodge, we're hoping to do 38,000 lights the
Wow.
weekend of, we usually
Beautiful.
try to do it the weekend of Thanksgiving is where we start. We'll go from 4:30 till 9:30 during the week and 10-ish, 10:30 during the weekend on Fridays and Saturdays. On Fridays and Saturdays, we'll serve cocoa and coffee and candy canes. And this year we have some limited edition pins that you all have.
Yes.
When did you say you were starting this again? When are you starting, when did your light show first open?
We first opened the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Good, I'm almost over here. October, I wanted her to say it.
Gorgeous. Did you have anything?
Yeah, this is just a pet peeve of mine. There is a light on the ocean, if people haven't seen it. It's on North Point,
Yes.
and South Point. It's a spotlight that illuminates the ocean. I'm really interested in moving the city to dark sky community. It's really a very popular thing that we could get a lot of tourists to come here and be nice residents to look up at the sky. But there was a lighting ordinance moving through the planning commission, and with everything else, it's gotten stalled. And as part of the quality of life ordinances we were talking about, like noise as well, and I forget what the other one was, but to me, this is a priority. And as more and more people are building here, and once one person puts up a light, Tyler Race puts a light on the ocean, there's so many impacts, not only to people, but to wildlife, fish, birds. I don't know about whales, but I have a large literature review on all the impacts. But anyway, I don't know how I think the lighting ordinance was almost completed. And Eric Sherman, who's the head of the planning commission's electrician, I think he had a large say in making it practical, but I haven't seen anything, and I haven't asked for it, but I would hope that we as a city council could encourage the planning commission to move on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And nothing, and Councilor Beasley?
Oh, I'd like to say thank you to the city engineer for those great schematics on the walkway out at the sewer plant. It's nice to see that kind of professional work. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you. We are.
Bye, everybody.